In a world of increasing data size and complexity, Tableau and Snowflake are an efficient way to analyze and share large amounts of data. Today, we're going to be recreating the Twitter visualization that you see here in under 5 minutes. Let's go take a look. Now, I already have a Snowflake instance that I'm going to connect to. As you can see, Snowflake is one of dozens of data sources that Tableau can easily connect to. And all you have to know in order to connect to Snowflake is your instance, your username, and your password. Once I type that in, I can select the warehouse that I'd like to use, the database, and the schema, and then all of the tables within that database are visible to me. In this case, I'm going to connect to the Twitter data source that I was just talking about, which contains millions of tweets that we got from the Twitter API. Let's start analyzing this data. Tableau automatically splits data into dimensions and measures. It also categorizes data based on what's within the actual fields. So a great example here is country code, which I can simply double-click on to visualize. Tableau has automatically geocoded all of these locations, which is incredibly powerful. We go all the way down to the postal code level in many countries worldwide. So it makes it very easy to visualize data without having to worry about geocoding. I'd also like to see how many listed users we have in each one of these countries. We can see that the United States is such a huge outlier that it skews this particular visualization, so we can barely see any others. But, of course, we have a lot of flexibility in how we visualize this data, and so we can see by changing the endpoint here that Brazil, the UK, Australia also have a large number of listed users. Alright, let's name this user listed count. Now, I'd also like to know how these tweets are composed over time. The problem is that our created at field is a date, but it isn't clearly shown. We can easily switch this to date and time, and then drag this over and analyze it down to the hour or minute. Let's see over time how many tweets were created. It looks like the peak is right around 12 p.m. But I'm wondering if that's true across all of the languages that are within this data source. We can continue to add to this visualization as we go along and contribute as many different categorical fields as we want to the visualization. We can also change how the visualization is shown, so we can switch it to an area chart as opposed to a line chart. If we want to filter the visualization to just show a certain block of time, it's also relatively easy to enable a filter and then drag and drop to look at a certain time period. You can see it returns the data instantly, and this is one of the efficiencies that you can see with using Tableau and Snowflake together. The direct connection leverages the speed of Snowflake, so you can get those very speedy responses and analyze your data quickly on the fly without having to wait for the query to run. We'll call this tweets over time. Now, as much as this is interesting and I'd like to continue to look at it, I'm going to keep that particular visualization and change it to view it in a different way. Let's see this as a bubble chart. I'm going to remove the date field so we can just see which languages are most popular. You can see by using Show Me in Tableau, I can switch between visualizations extremely quickly. And that gives me a lot of power with how I want to visualize my data and exploring it. If you're not able to iterate really quickly on your data and change it on the fly without having to click update buttons or drop down menus, then you're going to be in a lot better situation when you're trying to understand what's in your data source. We'll name this Tweets by Language. Now all you have to do is combine these three visualizations onto a dashboard in order to view them together and analyze them together. You can see creating a dashboard in Tableau is very similar to creating a sheet. We're simply dragging and dropping. And we have a lot of flexibility with how we can visualize the data as well. So if we want to create something floating over a view, it's pretty simple to do that. Organizations that are using Tableau and Snowflake together are finding that they're able to analyze data volumes that they were never able to analyze before because their systems were just too slow and inflexible. Now, with Snowflake as your backend and Tableau as your visual layer, you're able to create an analysis like this in just minutes and finally find answers where you were waiting before.